It's always good to listen to your instincts. That's what I was screaming at Claire Danes, Aggie Wiggs, through the course of The Beast in Me. An acclaimed author who has recently suffered the devastating loss of her son, Aggie's newest project revolves around writing a book about Matthew Rice's Nile Jarvis, who is not dissimilar from Kendall Roy. He's a real estate mogul with a lion of a father, as rich as Croesus, and both a despicable person and possibly a sociopath. Where he diverges from Succession's #1 boy is that he's been accused of murdering his first wife, Madison. Although on paper Madison has gone missing and Nile has been cleared of any charges, in the court of public opinion, Nile is suspect #1. Struggling with grief and her recent divorce from her ex-wife, Shelley, Aggie is plagued by writer's block on her newest book. As she embarks on telling Nile's story, she is woven into his complicated life, and her suspicions that Nile killed his wife waver as she grows closer to him. Created by Gabe Rotter, The Beast in Me not only examines the life and privileges of the powerful and wealthy, but also dives into a mission to find and preserve the truth at any cost. Matthew Rhys and Claire Danes are electric in The Beast in Me. What is immediately apparent about The Beast in Me is that the series is held up by two powerhouse performances from both Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys. Danes is reminiscent of Kate Winslet in Mare of Easttown in her dogged pursuit of her subject. With her own personal life in shambles, especially as she hasn't been able to forgive the teenager who was involved in the crash that killed her son, Aggie is facing off against piling bills and a 2-year delay on her next book. Although her first book was an utter success, with both Nile and his new wife, Nina, being fans of her work, her star is dwindling. When Nile moves in next door to her, inspiration finally strikes again as she gets the mogul to open up to her for the first time ever to tell his side of the story. Danes's Aggie is determined, cutting, and unflinchingly blunt. She's not afraid to confront Niles directly for all the things he's been accused of and doesn't take his bullshit. She's the perfect opponent to Rhys's Niles because she isn't intimidated by the rumor surrounding him, nor is she seduced by his money. Grief still hangs off of her, and she's not perfectly put together, but when she's profiling Nile, she's a dog with a bone. She knows exactly what to ask to get him to open up and stares him down with an unflinching look that proves she's not backing down. On the other hand, Rhys's performance as Nile Jarvis is about as terrifying as they come. Cold, rude, privileged, he's the embodiment of a rich asshole. Perfectly coiffed and flawless looking with a new and beautiful wife, it's as easy to hate Nile as it is to be lured by his bizarre charisma. Rhys deserves flowers for his performance. Nile is so threatening at times that it makes your blood curdle. Even if there's no proof that this man killed his wife, there's something deeply unnerving about him. Whether it's a scene of him staring quietly into Aggie's eyes at lunch or him voraciously eating a rotisserie chicken with his hands, he's a man who screams predator.
Netflix's The Beast in Me leans fully into gothic thrills. The best part of The Beast in Me isn't just that we're given two standout performances, but also that the series leans fully into the gothic genre. It is always unnerving, and there's a suppressive feeling of the unknown that follows this story around. With every truth that Aggie uncovers, another mystery presents itself. Although the narrative behaves similarly to a typical mystery crime thriller, the series' willingness to embrace the Gothic adds a unique layer that gives it its own intrigue. From silent and ominous figures to dark and stormy nights, the setting of Aggie and Niles' homes is as integral to the story as the mystery itself. This unsettling feeling that pervades the series is what keeps it going. Even when you know there's something that just isn't right, you are still in the dark about the truth. No one can deny that there's something wrong with Nile. He's bloodthirsty and brutal, especially in business. But could it be that he has been misunderstood? This doubt comes in once more of Nile's family and his former in-laws are introduced. As we learn more about who Madison actually was and who she was to the people closest to her, the truth begins to blur. When Nile's family, particularly his domineering father Martin, shows up, their Succession-esque dynamic leads to a more complex portrayal of the character. Martin is a titan of industry, and as deadly as his son when it comes to a desire for utter control. The power that the Jarvis family holds over the city only adds to the mystique of this dynasty. Martin's own obsession with legacy led him to remarry at a late age, and now he has 2 young sons under the age of 10. However, this doesn't mean that he lets up on Niall. The pressure he puts on his eldest son and the expectations he has for him lead to the only times when we see Niall's typically unflappable demeanor show the cracks beneath. All of this serves as extra set dressing to an already compelling tale.
Netflix's The Beast in Me will leave you on the edge of your seat.
It wouldn't be fair to say that the mystery at the heart of The Beast in Me is something that will leave you guessing. What happens to Madison Jarvis is not that surprising. It's the story that comes with solving her murder that makes it so thrilling. When Aggie starts investigating Niall, she is approached by a drunk FBI agent in the middle of the night named Brian Abbott, who warns her to be careful of the mogul. Although his credibility is shot during this first meeting, Brian's appearance leads Aggie to dig deeper into the investigation behind Niall and his family. As she grows closer to Brian, who soon becomes a trusted confidant and proves himself to be an honest man, the two of them get pulled deeper and deeper into Niall's spiral and Madison's death, and these dual investigations keep the show thrilling. Brian investigates as an FBI agent on his own, struggling with his own ghosts, while Aggie becomes more entrenched with Niall. With each revelation that's made, including one shocking discovery that Brian makes in the third act, the series becomes more of a nail-biter. It culminates in the revelation and flashback to what actually happened to Madison, along with a heart-pounding conclusion that reveals what happened to Aggie's son and how her story with Niall ends. From beginning to end, it's impossible to take your eyes off the screen with The Beast in Me. Whether it's the talented cast, the twisty story, or the eeriness that is both compelling and repulsive, it's an addictive watch and worthy of a binge for all lovers of mysteries and crime dramas. The Beast in Me is available to stream now on Netflix in the US.